You beautiful people, how are you feeling tonight? We're here at the lovely Downtown Dynasty Theater. My name is Brandon Johnson. I also wish I was Jeff Davis, too. But in lieu of that, let's wish him a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Jeff. Excellent work, my friends. Let's get started. You know him. You love him. If you're lucky, you might get to sit next to him. Rob Schrab. Yeah. Creepshow director, Rob Schrab. Creepshow director, Rob Schrab. Dungeon master, game blaster. He doesn't say pasta, Spencer Crittenden. He's looking fresh tonight. So much show, so let's get down. You know the man's name, goddammit. Put your hands together for the mayor, Dan Harmon.
October, boo, spooky show. Welcome to the spookiest show. October is the scariest month, you know. I remember a ghost who liked to eat toast. It's a boring song. All right, let's what's going on, everybody? You guys have a good weekend? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Woo.
I don't really have anything to talk about, so thanks for coming. But we have some guests. We can chat with them about all kinds of stuff.
You guys hear about that Addams family?
Wow.
I
mean, I've heard about them. Yeah.
Yeah. Those guys are crazy.
Like, you mean because it's October.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're nuts, man. Oh, yeah, they're all together ooky.
Yeah. Yeah.
They like attack each other.
What came first? So the Munsters came second, right? Like the Addams family was
I'm
first.
pretty sure.
And then the Munsters was like the GoBots.
Addams family was like a comic strip.
Comic strip, yeah.
Yeah, and then they turned it into...
And then Munsters were like, anybody can do that.
Yeah.
You're doing it wrong. Who's the Frankenstein?
Lurch.
That was the scientist's name. You see, that's the kind of snobby shit that's going to get all of those Addams family expats from coming over to the Munster side.
Well, his name is Herman.
Yeah. I can make my own cable now. Like, it doesn't even matter what kind.
Why are you doing that?
What channels can you make?
Stupid.
You're splicing cables?
Yeah, because
Can you splice the Food Network with Comedy Central? Go. Can you splice the History Channel with Nickelodeons? Go.
Can you splice, I don't know.
I got it. Can you splice Spike TV with, I'm done.
The reason for making your own cable is for cable management. You don't want to have a bunch of extra loop-de-loops. You get 100 feet of cable. What are the odds that you need to go 100 feet away? You know, you probably usually need 71 feet of cable.
Right.
You know, I got one 100-foot cable. It had a bunch of extra going to the monitor I needed. Then I took all the extra and I just cut it, threw another connector on there, took the extra slack that I cut off, used that to keep the chain going to another monitor. It was really satisfying. I took that 100-foot cable and I turned it into a feed for 3 different monitors in my gym.
Can you rewire my sound system?
No.
Oh, so you don't know how to?
Well, I actually don't know how to make audio cable yet. Yeah, that's
okay.
True. I can't I can only make coax.
Well, call me when you're ready.
All right. I think all music is just streamed now. I think you can just stream it.
Not when I'm watching a movie and the sound's coming through the speakers. You can't stream that.
Right.
Can you fix my sound system?
I thought you did a great job on that Rick and Morty draft. Good job.
Thank you very much. I'm very proud of that. I'm glad you liked it.
It was a pleasure to read. Thank you.
Thank you.
Reminding you that I'm your boss. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have to make up things to talk about. It seems like I'd have a lot to talk about.
We could talk about Creepshow.
Okay, let's talk about Creepshow. Rob's Creepshow show called Creepshow on Shudder, which is an app.
It's a streaming service, sure.
A streaming ooh la la. A streaming service.
Just let me have a fucking win for 2 seconds. You're like a fucking xenomorph. You let a compliment comes out and then you suck it back in.
I love when nerds fight because they say xenomorph. He could have just been like, you like an asshole. You a real dick right now. But you were like, man, you like Clark Flap to the 4th power, bitch.
All right,
Thank you for standing up for me.
I gave you props for what could have been a basic put down, but was really extra. Okay. I was on your side.
Good job on your
until now
streaming service premiere.
It's not my streaming service, and the streaming service didn't premiere my episode of the new show.
All right, yeah,
it was a premiere on a streaming service.
Subscribe to Shudder,
if you'd like. Yes.
Spelled with D's, not T's. It's not.
Oh
it's
my
not,
God! You can't. It's so difficult for you to compliment me.
What the fuck? I'm trying to help them find it. Shudder.
We've been talking about this since February. Go ahead.
What?
What the fuck, man?
Keep.
You can't even.
My man made a spooky. It's on this app streamer. It's called Shudder. It's spelled. I mean, I won't tell him how to spell it. Go to the app store. Download that shit. You probably get a free preview. Maybe you gotta promise them you'll pay them $5 a month later or something, but you probably time enough to watch Schrab's episode. It's pretty good. I liked it. You know what?
Just stop.
He got
Bring
to
the guest out. I'm so sorry.
He got to work with a bunch of his heroes. Tom Savini.
Yeah. Greg Nicotero, Jeffrey Combs,
yeah.
Kid Cudi.
Kid Cudi.
Yeah.
Kid Cudi.
Tom Savini, you'll know from. I mean, that's the guy who did all the makeup for all the George Romero Dead movies, and he also played in Dawn of the Dead. He was like the leader of the biker gang. He gets torn
Sex
apart.
Machine and Dust Till Dawn.
Yeah, Sex Machine and Dust Till Dawn. That's right, the guy with the little Gatling gun belt buckle. Yeah. That's Tom Savini. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah. Pretty cool.
It was really cool. It was amazing. Yeah. And he was very nice, and his wife was very nice too. And we had a great time. Yeah, Kate was out. Kate.
That's what I was going to say. Speaking of wives,
Kate. Go ahead.
No, that was it.
Kate. Speaking of
Freud,
wives, Kate.
my wonderful, brilliant wife, played the French.
Yeah, she's all over that thing.
Yeah, she did an amazing job.
Does a tremendous job.
I guess not. Oh, okay.
Very good. So take a look. I hope you like it. And I was pretty excited. I had a great time at your older place.
Did you get to meet Stephen King?
No, met his son, Joe Hill, who wrote Tom Savini's episode.
Yeah. I met him. I didn't have to
I met him too. He was in the original Creepshow.
Yeah.
He played the little boy that got slapped by Tom Atkins.
Wait, in what? Which
remember when the installment, the bookend, where Tom Atkins finds the comic book? He's the little boy.
Oh wow! Yeah. Wow, that's Joe Hill.
Yep. Huh. Yep.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is funny.
Yeah. I mean, it's striking, isn't it? I mean, sure, Joe Hill doesn't want us but you met him and you thought the same thing I did, which is like, God damn, those Stephen King genes are potent.
Yeah.
Like what do you get 50% from each like parent or what in the hell,
he
man?
looks and sounds a lot like
And I met his
King.
kids. Did you meet Joe's kids? Because it's like you can see it. It's like,
I saw
finally
them.
nature's getting a crowbar in there. Like his kids only look like half Stephen King.
Yeah.
It's just striking, like how much. I'm sure nobody wants to really hear that much. Although I don't mind. But I look a lot like my dad, and people would tell me that as I was growing up. Like, God damn, you look like your dad, and I never took offense.
Yeah, I look like my dad. And Stephen King wrote like.
If only I knew my dad.
Damn.
But enjoy your privilege.
Aww. Brandon, would it make you feel better if I brought out 3 white men?
Yes!
All right. Our next guests are the founding fathers and hosts of the of iHeartRadio's Stuff You Should Know networks. There's a lot of apostrophes in their chain, but their podcast is Stuff They Don't Want You to Know. Please welcome Matt, Ben, and Noel from that podcast. You guys held your applause for last names, and I'm like, no. Hi, guys. No problem. I'm a bad introducer. I said, please welcome Matt, Ben, and Noel, and they waited because they thought I was going to say
Shackman.
It was just much farther away than we realized.
like
Yeah,
you guys are brothers.
It was farther away. Yeah, I thought you nailed it.
Okay, thank you.
I don't.
I'm waiting to decide.
So when I was much younger, Art Bell was still on the air with Coast to Coast, and he would open up his lines to like alien abductees, time travelers, and he'd talk about all the usual stuff. And
Reptoids,
Hollow Earth.
holla back.
there was typically, I think we were in a kind of a Camelot for a while, even when there were Republican presidents. It's like life was not so politically mired. It really didn't matter. And Art Bell was so long ago, and then the throne's been handed off and stuff. And it was just, I just recently listened to. This is my opening question. I just recently listened to who's the guy that took over for Art.
George Norrie.
George, yeah, I was listening to. I just happened across an episode of his show maybe a couple years ago, and there was some guy that was like talking about, carnivorous plants or something, and how they're still hiding their existence in the hollow earth or whatever he was talking about. And the guy was just going on the phone, and then he was like, and that's why they don't want you to believe in Donald Trump. That's the thing. And he started going, because he's not part of the system, and they're trying to hold him back. And he got a couple sentences out, and then George eventually, he's just like, Tom, I got to cut you off there. I'm sorry, but that is the one topic we just can't talk about on this show.
Limits, yeah.
And I thought that was so striking. Conspiracy theory culture. Like, you got the we are now living in this time when it's like, I don't know, there's like 8 ironies there that I can't describe. But anyways, you guys have like this super intelligent kind of approach to talking about conspiracy theories. You're and that's what impresses me about your show. You keep it unmired. You don't lose your wigs, and you don't have call-ins from people that are like, "Hey, I just talked to a."
Well, no, we have a hotline. We do call-in episodes, or we play back the most batshit ones. But
It's just not live.
true.
Just in case.
And I guess that's just kind of how we met, is that I was commenting to Spencer. We were talking about that NPR, the Radiolab episode where you and I were disagreeing.
Oh, yeah.
And I brought these guys up. I just mentioned them and said, I've been, as a hobbyist, I've been getting into centrism. No offense. I was just like, wow, these guys have been talking about this topic for an hour, and they haven't. And then somebody must have told you guys, as they do on the internet. Dan Harmon talked about you or whatever. Now we met. And now you're on the show. Dan, ask them a question. How are you guys?
Swell, splendid,
Well done.
swimmingly.
Nice.
Pretty great. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is absurdly surreal. in the best possible way.
What is it like to be smart and into conspiracy theories?
That's a
Well,
loaded question.
yeah.
I don't know.
You definitely framed us up there. I can't
Well, what do we
speak for
call
all
it? We call it a critical thinking approach to conspiracy.
Yeah,
theories. That's
which
the
is an
best way to
important
frame it.
distinction. Yeah, because so there's when I think any of us hear the term conspiracy theory, especially now, and I appreciate that you pointed out this like schism that's occurring where there are a bunch of very far right people who are now into conspiracy theories.
Well, they always were, but they were never. I think it's the other way around. Not to get derailed by this, but I almost feel like people that were fringe. It was the same on the left with the Bernie Sanders phenomenon. It's people that considered themselves fringe in the Camelot of the bipartisan days. Mm-hmm. People that were like, "What's with this election shit?" And it was like the fringe got drawn into the process. And I think that like people that didn't know they were right wing 15 years ago figured out that they were. Yeah. Which was really disconcerting for me because I'm like, hey, I wanted to talk about Hollow Earth and Flat Earth and anything, but I can't do it anymore when now it's connected directly to and that's why women should it's like,
because there's always that plot twist, and it happens to us a lot too. We'll be reading what I think we all agree is like a fascinating correspondence or something where someone has this really out there idea, but they've thought it through. They have internal logic, and we get into like paragraph 4, page 4, and they go, and that's why Donald Trump, just like George Norrie runs into. We prefer the term conspiracy realist because there's insidious language that happens. If you are on the news or you're watching a news show a few years ago, someone would say the idea that international banks are laundering money for drug cartels is a conspiracy theory, and then they would say that because it's sort of a thought-terminating cliche. Right. And now all of a sudden saying that drug cartels are working with banks to launder dirty money is the same thing as saying that the Queen of England is somehow a half reptilian alien, and the difference is that one of those things is fucking true. You know?
Yeah. She an alien.
Yeah. She an alien. I like the poutiness of it. She an alien.
I knew it.
That's a really good point. And you guys always parse out your things. The structure of your show is that you kind of announce the topic, and then you say, here are the facts, and you lay them all out. And I always find it kind of important to go like, oh yeah. It is important to keep those things separated. That I can't think of a good example of a topic where you're kind of like, yeah, I thought I knew the facts, but actually what's important is to build a little box around what you know to be the case, because it often contains a bunch of crazy shit. And then you'll typically take a little break, and then you usually will then come back from that break and say, here's where it gets crazy, and then talk about the more unproven assertions that may be associated with those things. And so is that why you guys got into it in the first place? Or is it among this trio, are there differing philosophies on this? Is Noel like dude, there's a Bigfoot for real, and I have to hang out with these fucking nerds just to get them to talk about it?
I don't know. Like, I guess we do have kind of like different roles. I guess I'm sort of maybe more of the skeptic. Matt's a bit more of a true believer about some of these things. I don't want to like put words in your mouth.
It has a lot to do with our background. I grew up in the church very heavily when I was growing up.
Which church, Matt? Which church?
It was the United Methodist Church. That's how I got my start. And I
did too, but I think yours was a little more hardcore than mine.
Yeah. Sure. But
hardcore Methodist.
Yeah, real hardcore Methodist, dude. Those wafers. So I lost my religion, as you know. Many of us probably have a little bit, at least, when you get to college or you're really like getting more academic. And
you listen to Pink Floyd, and you're like, "There's no way God is real."
No way.
I was listening to Jars of Clay right up into college, like that kind of music.
That record fucking slaps, though, dude.
That's a true story.
Praise.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. Yeah, that's just where I was. I mean, that's where I grew up. I was in an isolated town in Georgia called Cumming. It was literally called Cumming.
How's it spelled, Matt?
Cumming. It's Forsyth County. It's one of the. It was the most. I think it was. Yeah, it was
whitest.
Certainly, but it was one of the most conservative towns in all of America. Is where I grew up. It's changed a little bit at this point. I'm not there anymore, but it shaped the way that I viewed the world. All of that, and it's just most of us where we're born and the economic strata in which we're born, it shapes us a lot, and the struggles that we go through. For me, it was all internal because I was very privileged in my position, and the struggle was learning that my worldview was not necessarily correct. And the things that I had based my entire life on were not necessarily correct.
So you came to conspiracy theory because you had been brainwashed, potentially.
Well, I think I knew that had been pulled over my eyes, and it wasn't necessarily my fault. It was other people trying to shape me because they believed a certain thing, right? At least that's how I ended up getting there. And I also spent about 5 summers working at a private club in Atlanta where it was the most wealthy people in all of Atlanta going to hang out and eat she-crab soup by the pool. And I really didn't like what I felt there.
I bet you heard some
servants,
shit by the
essentially.
pool, though. Did you not? Like, come on, you had to have heard some.
It was mostly griping about Pinot Grigio, but it was, really influential, cool people, I'm sure. But it also shaped my worldview. Anyway,
Pinot
I'm talking
Grigio,
for too long. Conspiracy theories were this window that I could view the world through that felt like there might be something there because I couldn't trust what I believed in for so long that I should at least examine it.
But that's the thing, too. Like, with a lot of the things we look into, it's like, as bonkers as they get, there's usually a nugget of truth, like, buried somewhere in there. And that's the part that's fun about, like, I consider it almost like a thought experiment, what we do sometimes when we talk about this stuff. As opposed to being, like, a true believer, or like a tinfoil hat type. It's more like, this is interesting. What do people think? What does the internet say? What's the science? How do we get through all that to something that's real? And I think that's what we attempt to do anyway.
And it's sort of a false dichotomy, too, to say that something has to be absolutely true or absolutely false, right? It's easy to say that. It's comforting to say that, but it's usually not the case, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we look for meaning in chaos. The conspiracy theories are kind of. There's a conspiracy theory. If you call it something different, it's a religion. God conspired to. There's this unseen forces controlling the world. Like we fall back on the positive version of a conspiracy theory when we lose a friend, because the alternative is to stand there throwing dirt onto somebody's box that should still be standing there. And what else are you going to do? Is that the only reason why conspiracy theories get created? Is it just that need for control? I don't want to discount the other reason, which would be that they're true. I don't want to, but I mean, like, the ones that like kind of just blossom organically. Mm-hmm. Have you guys noticed anything in your studies, because you've been doing this for over a decade, right? Do you have a kind of unifying theory about how conspiracy theories get born?
That's a big one. So 2 things. I really like that you pointed out that sometimes they're true, right? Not often, not near as often as the people calling coast to coast may want to believe. But we see 2 interesting things. First, some conspiracy theory stuff is ultimately classification and categorization, which are things that our species is brilliant at. You know, we are hardwired to connect dots because back in the day, that kept us alive, right? And nothing really has changed with our neurochemistry. But the second thing, sometimes real quick, short. The reason we all know the term conspiracy theory today is because the U.S. government sent out a memo after the assassination of Kennedy, after the assassination of then President Kennedy, and the memo sent to Papers of Note and to broadcast radio said the following. They said, okay, this is the official story. This is what we figured out. No, we don't have any secret smoky back rooms. Lyndon Johnson is just a dick. He's not some mastermind. And if you hear anything else, other than this official narrative, you are to call it a conspiracy theory.
Right, it's a term of abuse from the start. Like it's meant to discount everything that comes after. You know, like that's the whole point. So we sometimes say on the show, like, this isn't a conspiracy theory. This is a fucking conspiracy.
Yeah, that's
a thing.
Sometimes we have to throw up our hands and say, well, that one's true.
What did happen to JFK?
May as well while we're here. Yeah.
I listened to.
Can we do that? Can we throw out conspiracies?
I just
You can
did.
tell us?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying we should do
Gold
that,
keep me.
and then Brandon should do one, and then I can do one.
Oh,
yeah,
And then
sure.
Dan.
I listened to a
I'm
podcast.
afraid none of you can do that because the Jews won't let you.
Oh no!
All right, so Dan, you started.
I listened to a podcast where a guy said like his dad was involved in like the State Department and stuff, and he mentioned like stuff happened to Kennedy, and I was like, I'm sure this is a lie, but it was just crazy. And obviously, there's tons and tons of conspiracy theories about. But this was someone purporting that to that their family member was like talking some shit about shit he did to JFK, and that's just crazy.
Well, there's we can confirm he is dead. He did get shot.
Sure,
that part's
I
true.
agree with that.
Those are the facts.
Those are the facts.
The facts are assassinations have happened.
Yeah,
The fact
that's
is
it.
America has ordered them.
Yeah, and the fact is there are factions in both the private industry and in the criminal industry, which is also private, I guess, and in our own state-supported, at times, criminal industry that very much wanted that president out of the picture. Those things are true, but one thing you have to be careful about when we put all these puzzle pieces together is we have to remember that in addition to being brilliant at creating pattern or seeing some where none might actually exist, our species really shits the bed when it comes to working together. So the idea that there would be a nefarious, shadowy empire that somehow, even though they're at loggerheads every other goddamn day of the week, the fact that they would have some sort of Avengers level team up is it asks for us to believe in a lot of good things about humanity that are, unfortunately, that would be anomalous.
It is especially funny now. Like, I remember when I saw Oliver Stone's movie, how terrified I was and how anti-government the whole thing made me, because I was just like, it was Camelot back then when that movie was made, and it was talking about a time in which, from the standpoint of that movie's production, it was like, God damn, can you imagine? Oh, the people that did this, they're still watching. They've only gotten more powerful. But it's funny, now I'm 46 and I live in this world where I'm thinking about the idea of JFK getting assassinated, and I don't think this will offend anybody, but I also don't want people to take this the wrong way. But it's almost like I'm like, God, how great that would be if a
more efficient government.
If our government was that powerful, because what have we learned in the last 2-3 years? It's like we've been dissecting a pickled frog. We've been uncovering these things that we're like, well, that's impressive, that's complicated, but we're certainly learning no one can start this thing's heart. It's been soaked in formaldehyde. The fact that I'm looking inside of it is because this frog is destroyed. It cannot hop. It cannot do anything. We used to have 3 branches of government, and right now, as of 3 years, like we now have like 12 to 25, just like Game of Thrones factions. Yeah. I'm sure it's temporary. I hope it is. I hope the Constitution holds up. But it's just amazing how quickly you're reading headlines that say, White House decision to pull out of this flummoxes the Pentagon, while the CIA accuses the FBI whistleblower of cooperating with the Attorney General, who was doing this all for the Supreme Court. I was like, God damn, I used to panic that all these dudes were out to get me. Yeah. Together.
They're out to get each other.
They're too fucking busy. I should knock over a bank.
I think we're missing the big question here.
I've stopped using my Tor browser.
Oh, shit.
I just want to know. I just want to know what Moby knows, okay? Because Moby has got his finger on the pulse of all this shit. Like there was a story that came out a year or so ago where Moby like talked some shit about how he was friends with an NSA guy and knew that the Trump P tape was real and knew all this stuff, and then it just came out as like a very buried lead in like a Rolling Stone article that in fact Moby is friends with some deep level CIA types, and he was telling the truth.
But that'd be funny if the guy like tweeted that. He's like, friends, we fucked.
Yeah. Yeah,
I wouldn't call it friends.
Yeah.
He gets reverse.
I wonder too, because that's at some point goes back to the JFK question, which the thing that's so fascinating about it is every time they think this is crazy, then a little bit of something that actually happened turns out to be true, right? Like there are always these, you could think of them as breadcrumbs, but I think that's why it remains one of the most popular in any poll.
How come he did not tell us what happened though?
Moby?
Huh?
No, what happened to Kennedy?
Yeah.
Well, do you guys
This is
have
what
any
they do.
kind of
This
like
is their trick.
conclusion?
This is their
you've come
trick,
to?
man. You're on Harmontown, bro. You ain't gonna be able to fudge your way out.
Well,
Yeah,
here's the deal with a lot of the things that we end up researching like this. When, you get to the here's where it gets crazy part of our show, and we have to analyze 12 things that are the possibilities of the theories that have been approached with something like JFK being shot. And you kind of have to just weigh what feels the most plausible, what feels the most possible, and that's generally what we do. We have a discussion about that, but
You guys aren't Mythbusters. There's not a point at the end of each episode where you go, Kennedy,
Well, yeah.
boom, assassinated.
Busted.
We also don't agree, actually, on this particular
Okay,
one.
well now, all right.
Okay, power round. Go down the line. Okay,
all right, tell
Dan?
us. Just
Because Mythbusters make you feel good.
Yeah.
All right, well,
Yeah.
So what we're talking about overall is the compartmentalization of intelligence agencies. And you never want the left hand to know what the right hand is doing if you're going to do something in secret. And that's something that people who have been creating intelligence agencies for a long time have been doing. Since the world wars, that's just the way they're run. And I believe that JFK was taken out for a lot of reasons. I believe, personally, this does not mean it's true, that he was taken out by some small group of people within, I'm just going to be as broad as I can, within the deep state that took him out for reasons that perhaps we don't even know.
I think that makes 100% sense, but I also don't fucking know. So.
I think it's really weird. It beggars belief to say that Lee Harvey Oswald, given connections with Russia and given his international passage back and forth, could have been a lone person. It's also like think about first off the fact that his records show he was a piss poor shot. Like that is clear. That's been confirmed by multiple sources. He's not some kind of born candidate who or a Manchurian candidate.
Born Identity Manchurian Candidate. That's
Thank
the
you.
mashup.
That's the one. Yeah. No. I got the main words in there, but the idea. I am of the belief that as much as we want to believe in state actors, often what purports to be a state action is ultimately just like the state is the finger on the hand of larger private industry. Mm-hmm. And, wars are about resource extraction. Fuck idealism, honestly, and when it gets to the back room, when the rubber hits the road. So I believe that there were heavy private interests that were, let's say, if not directly, like sending some bank hitman or whatever to do some shady stuff. I believe that there were private interests that were heavily involved and had the wherewithal to at least produce an assassination.
Really fast, can we get into your background a little bit, Ben? Because I think this is one of the reasons why our show is so interesting, because Ben was studying to perhaps do this to understand at least the way these things function. And you were
going to be an assassin?
Yeah, he was going to be an assassin.
He's a great shot too.
No, just
book depository management.
Yeah.
But Ben, you have a working understanding of the way states function. So when Ben is telling you things like this, a lot of times, you may be a little skeptical listening to the things and take them as fact, but Ben knows what he's talking about, is what I'm trying to say.
Throw me under the grassy knoll, man.
Well, I did. I gotta say, I was listening to the Odessa episode just this morning, and there was this like weird thing dropped in there about like, Ben, how many times have you had to escape a country? And there was no laughter, and you just went, I don't know, 7, 8. Yeah. Okay. So,
that is primarily due to my poor planning skills, perhaps is the best way to say it. I was originally, in some universe to the left of ours, I'm working for the State Department, but in the course of pursuing that as a career or whatever, I mean, I quickly became disillusioned because I believe there are many great people. It sounds great. Like some are great people. I know, right?
This motherfucker's about to be like, we killed some people. I know that we did. It's a good job if you want it.
I think
Podcasting, am I right?
Right. That's where
you saw some shit that made you be like, this might not be the job for me?
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
You can't even talk about it right now.
It's just not. I'm torn. I'm torn, Brandon, because I don't want to say that everyone who works in the State Department or any of the alphabet soups of agencies here, I don't want to say that they're automatically villains. But I do want to say, like, when you have a monolith, it's the banality of evil. When you have this monolithic entity with such power and such influence and such reach, then very quickly morality becomes a matter of convenience and performance.
Sure.
And I can't hang with that.
It's got to be a crazy, weird dental floss, Mobius floss thing. Like this way, the idea that if you love America enough, undoubtedly what you probably love is the idea of the Democratic Republic, the idea of the thing that you're protecting. Then I could see like crossing that threshold of like, I love that so much, I'm going to separate myself from that in what I know and what I'm able to share, and even maybe some of what I do, because hey, that's how the sausage is made internationally and all these things. But then it's like I can only imagine like where the deal breakers are.
The greater good is like jam tomorrow. It's always a moving goalpost, and people like no one thinks, yeah, I'm the bad guy. History is going to fucking hate me, man. I'm just going to go all out. Not everybody, but people who often do terrible, horrific, atrocious things tend to think that they are doing it for a greater good. They feel like they're, Rust Cole. They're like the bad men who keep the other bad men from the door. And that's just not true. They're regular people doing bad things, and when you're, just like you said, Does
Trump have a time machine?
Got it.
Have you heard this conspiracy theory?
Okay.
Yeah.
Trump's uncle stole...
Levy, where's the booze?
Is it...
Yeah, I could use a drink.
Was it Trump's uncle, like, was like, deciphering Tesla's like notes and stuff like that, and he found the secrets that...
Hell yeah, Steve Levy.
Steve Levy, ladies and gentlemen.
Found
Steve
the secret
Levy.
to time travel. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay, okay. Buckle up. This is gonna be good.
All right, so I actually do want to get into something that we've talked about before on the show, and that is the concept of gaming out what could possibly happen using simulations on a global scale of governments, of populations, and the way a certain X factor.
Wait, we want to hear about time machines.
No,
bro.
but this is what I'm telling you. We're talking about time machines.
Okay, this is the setup.
This is almost a time machine where imagine you had a simulator of the world and global politics where you could see what happens if
you could run the simulation.
If there's unrest in Nicaragua or something for some reason, or if we happen to invade Iran next week, what would occur? What would the puzzle pieces look like from that point forward? If you could do that effectively enough and accurately enough, you could essentially have a time machine, or at least a
crystal ball.
Yeah, a version of it to where you could decide precisely which actions you could take, and then A through Z.
Certainly, even the public information that we have about Cambridge Analytica, like that's only what we know. That AI is already getting to that point, to the extent that we are online, to the extent that we behave in swarms, to the extent that.
But
All right, but he's talking about a specific theory.
Yes, you're right. But
come on, man, you can't go. Well, it's kind of a time machine.
So are
Get
you
the
talking
fuck
about
outta here.
physically?
You know what I'm talking about?
You're
do.
talking about physically transporting someone through
Yeah. Have you heard this?
There's that
I've
book.
heard it, but if that
Yeah.
kind of thing exists, there's no fucking way that guy could figure out how to operate.
But the theory is the reason his brain is melting is because time travel is cancerous.
I mean, he's losing his fucking mind.
That's true, but he always
He's
was.
doing it too
I
much.
mean,
Well, okay, so first off,
Doing it too much.
I would watch that Fringe episode.
But to what end? Like, how is this like helping him out? Like, how is this time
became
machine
president.
giving him the
Well,
edge?
he would
He
be
does
a
look
pawn.
like Biff from Back to the Future
Yes.
too. I mean,
He would be a
yeah.
pawn. That's the scary thing about this morning's headline, where I don't even fucking understand enough
the
about the region to know that
unsurpassed
he pulled troops out of this, and some people are going, "Why'd you do that?" And it just like flashed about this time travel theory where it's like, this guy's just some Biff Tannen that's been like fucking thrust into the gear works by. It's like, it's not by his design.
Yeah.
If he had a time machine, he would have just invented cocaine. You know, it's not like he would just be hanging out. He'd have a successful hot tub company, and he'd be like blowing David Hasselhoff. He'd be fine.
and he'd
Like,
have the dog track numbers or something.
yeah, or he'd be like part
And
of
he
some
can
island.
still
where,
do that.
Yeah, but he's not. It's like he's very like it is easy to believe in him as like a fucking crazy like monkey wrench that an alien or a time traveler would just bloop, casually knock in, not through a just random like rhinestone cowboy, like the next guy that walks in the door and like I've got a bet, by virtue of his sheer proximity, as Spencer's pointed out many times, Donald Trump had been running for president for 25 years. There's he constantly was running for president. And then finally it's like if you look at the swarming behaviors and things but him winning and the way he won and things and now the things he's doing, it's just like it does lend itself to a crazy cosmic theory. Like you can't imagine anyone but a fallen angel or a robot profiting.
Some sort of evil Promethean figure bringing.
And the way that we're all kind of going like you remember Minority Report when she's like walking Tom Cruise through the mall and she's like, duck, now, get an ice cream, now, all these things, because she can see a little bit into the future. And if you look at Tom Cruise's behavior as he's being Cyranoed by this precog, his behavior per our observation is crazy, right? Because it's like, now browse this magazine, now do this, now be random, put on this hat, duck, buy a balloon, hold this, pause 3 seconds, now move forward. That's Donald Trump. And it's also our reaction. The way that we're reacting to him being president reminds me of all of the people in the mall in Minority Report. Like we're always just shy of going like, wait a minute, what the fuck? You can't spell?
Every time.
We're always just like, well, he could never spell. I've got to get a greeting card.
It's always been true, right?
It's just like there's never, the swarm never works. And it's almost like there's been this tipping point now, which scares me more. It's like we're seeing this shift. It feels like time's up. Which makes me think the bomb is armed.
So the Russians have a time machine, right, that they use to influence the election.
That Baron Trump.
Yeah.
And Nikola Tesla somehow is involved.
And the tweets are code.
You know what I'm talking
There's
about?
this
I know who
this
he
book
is.
from
I
the
don't-
1900s, early 1900s, that talks about this character who's a Trump, and he meets a Grand Master who calls himself the Don, and he takes him through time, and he has a son. No, it was Baron Trump was
Baron
the Trump,
Trump.
right?
you want a
and
glass?
there's just these similarities in the book, and then it's in a YouTube video, but the YouTube video is kind of the thing where they kind of put their finger on the scale, where they make it feel a bit closer, and then they use some things that aren't true to kind of connect the dots a little harder than they're connecting. But the end result is there's this book in the 1900s that's like, there's this Trump guy and he becomes the president of the world, and it's in this place. It's like he has a mansion on whatever the place the actual Trump Tower is. And so there's these weird connections, right, Schrab? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Is that book real? I mean, the book's real.
It's a book. The book is called The Last President.
Wow. Well, you guys remember when the last president, like all of the rumors and things that were going on, where people were like, "Oh, that guy's definitely the Antichrist."
Oh, yeah.
that guy's definitely.
They used to say it's so much more about Clinton and Obama than they should about the guy.
Yeah.
I read Revelations. Trump has a wound on his head that he survived. Scalp surgery. Anyways.
Right. I remember. Yeah. I guess what I'm trying to get at is anytime there's somebody in power, we tend to distrust enough. It's just how we view authority a lot of times. And I'm not speaking for everyone, of course, but a lot of us just have that in us. Where we don't want to necessarily agree with everything the person who's telling us what to do says.
But this guy just lays it all out, man, in such a brazen way.
I'm not excusing his insanity, like in what we're going through right now. My wife and I have a running joke that we feel like we did jump timelines around 2016 because something feels off, something feels wrong or different.
Time travel machine.
Berenstain, Mandela effect, right?
Yeah.
Baron Trump.
I mean, and that's just a
Berenstein Trump.
Shit.
I don't know.
I'm glad that you still feel it's like a joke, though. You know, like that's got to be comfortable.
No, it's not a joke. The whole situation.
Is that a diss? Did you just diss him?
No, not at all.
No, it really no.
I'm continually. Matt's very bothered by this, and I'm bothered as well. Like I'm to the point where someone makes a Trump joke, and I think, yeah, but he's still fucking somehow up there. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then it also, as a cheapskate, it bothers the shit out of me that every time I get a check from somewhere, that guy's getting some of the money. I don't know what he's going to do with it. He's an unhinged lunatic. Yeah. It's not funny to me anymore. We are in the wrong timeline.
I feel like I'm so I go up and down. I go to sheer panic because I feel like I'm always in a good mood when he's in a bad mood. And then I'm like, what is that? I didn't have that relationship with Obama. Why do I care? I'm so happy that the president's upset.
When is he not in a bad mood?
Well, he's not a jolly guy, but I like watching him. I like waking up in the morning to a bunch of news headlines in my feed that even the fucking cynics and the what do you call them, contrarians, like they can't even muster the point of view that you're underestimating him again. He's trolling you. Like I like those weeks where it's just like, damn, this dude fucking up. And he's not taking it well. And then like his tweets are like, when's an egg not an egg? I got a horseshoe. And everyone's like, what in the fuck? He spelled horseshoe wrong. And I like those moments because it feels like a resolution. As a writer, I feel like the Mad King is like on the pyre and like dousing himself, but I should know by now that doesn't happen, you know. It's but then I go into this panic where I'm like, this whole thing is like beyond my control. That's the reason why it's bad in the first place. So in these moments when he's sweating and the CIA is yelling at the FBI and the FBI is yelling at the Supreme Court, I was like, I should be in a higher state of panic than when everything is running smoothly, but we're just torturing children at the border.
Yeah, that's the thing that sadly has occurred to us. I remember a while back, Matt, you and Noel and I were hanging out, and we were talking about something. We had lost some of the vim and vigor about this fucking guy, which is how we phrased him. And then we said, like, we had this moment where we went back at an arm's remove and thought about what future historians would think. And then it hit us, you know, just how, going back to your frog example, like there's that old cliche about slowly boiling
frog,
water. Yeah, I know, it's lazy writing, but it's real. And we also had this moment where we're like, it is stunning and astonishing and terrifying how quickly things become normal. We're watching this guy publicly and hilariously fall down a set of stairs, and everybody's like, oh, that's the bottom stair.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the last
I'm
one.
just really pumped for the biopic when Gary Busey plays him. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
I want to talk about something really uncomfortable.
Love it.
You're hitting on something that really resonates with me, Dan, like that, the reveling in somebody else's misery because you dislike them. Oh,
Speaking of, isn't
it uncomfortable to think that this man leads our country and we're happy that the leader of our country
is an idiot
doing
God?
is doing the is
well,
doing the wrong thing.
What's the alternative?
If I
though?
was
don't know.
going to counter that, what I would say is the part of what upsets me about the guy and makes me afraid of him when I'm in serious mode is that he represents this everything that he says. Oh, he's joking about it. He's or he's got the heart of America in his hand, whatever. But everything that comes out of his mouth is about an end to free press. Is about is about I am the only kind of patriot I could ever possibly be is the kind of patriot that says I have a right to hate America, etc. That whole flim flam, like this idea that the reason this country is great is because you don't have to love it for God's fucking sake. What kind of codependent relationship is that? And everything out of his big blithery fucking syphilitic mouth is about how if I had it my way, I wish it was like Korea. I just go back from Korea. It's great over there. They can turn you into soup if you don't like things. And I'm just like, I don't care that you're joking or that you're stupid. That's fucking dangerous because it doesn't take intelligence to overthrow what we have, which is Jesus Christ, it's a fucking luxury that like the whole engine is driven by a patriotic derision, a cynicism. Like we're constantly going, I don't like the way this country is being run right now. So I on one hand, what you're saying is, shouldn't it drive us all into the streets in our underwear that we can derive pleasure from the president's misery? For me, in those moments, I think because I'm so deprived of them in an extreme way in all of his other days, to me, I'm just like, it feels like a brief suspension of a migraine. And that registers as pleasure if you suffer from chronic migraines. It's like, there's not a nail being driven into my temple right now. Trump, like any fucking person who occupies that office, is sweating bullets. That's what you should be doing because part of your job is you're allowed to invade countries at your whim. You're allowed to like launch missiles. You're allowed to do whatever the fuck you want. If that job doesn't come with a bunch of
God forbid. But I mean, like, if it doesn't just devolve into total like totalitarianism, Mad Max kind of situation, at least it showed us the holes in the system in a way we haven't quite seen in this.
It has been refreshing, but I do also worry about it because it's like what we've been
silver lining.
What we've been seeing in this cow stomach window for those who have state fairs and from their hometowns.
4-H fans.
What we've been gazing into is there's this constant fear of like, God damn it, this guy was 6 IQ points from successfully being Hitler. Like he was always every time he fucks up, every time he gets on a phone call that's being recorded or transcribed, every time he decides that, I mean, what if the next guy, it doesn't matter what his political leanings are, our definition of insanity has been forever changed.
And the envelope is too loose now. The checks and balances have been eroded.
If Pete Buttigieg becomes president and wears a burgundy jumper that with a logo on it that is the earth with a heart above it that represents like no more fucking bullshit, no more hatred, and we're like, yay, and then he tweets every once in a while, hey, Betty Crocker got her spoon in my ass, and he misspells ass, we're going to be like, well, Trump misspelled his own name.
Well, that's Pete.
Yeah, that's how it's like it's like we shouldn't tolerate that much insanity. It scares me that forever now the office of the president is just like it used to be steeped in starch that I think kept me safe.
But is there a course correction?
Well,
I don't think so.
That's the thing. I love that you said forever. That's a fascinating word in this conversation because what we keep forgetting, I think, in national discourse in any conversation about this is that this is, you'll see that shit around July 4th when people are like, what a bold experiment. The American experiment. It's great. But it's true. 200 years is not a long time at all. Really, right now, if this shit collapses, right? And we're all just running around having that conversation about when we have to eat a dead body. Then what's going to happen is that in the future, people will say a bunch of folks got together in this one part of the world, and for around 200 years,
worked okay, sort of.
Yeah, but everybody saw the signs, right?
Yeah.
And so,
but the unspoken part of that is that, and the people before them they had it right because that lasted 1,500 years, where whoever was the son of whoever had the crown on last. It's like time moves more slowly underneath those crowns because those people were even dumber, and we sped up time because we fucking rule. We took capitalism and democracy to an extreme. We did the most bad, and we're on the most on record, and we opened our books and we add fucking things to the Constitution. It's like we're the best of a bad lot, as one of our guests once said.
I would disagree on 2 points. First off, I would disagree on 2 points. And the first point is that while this purports to be a meritocracy, anyone here would have a very difficult time explaining to someone from another place, like, yeah, we elect people because they're the best. They just happen to be fucking related to each other. What a coincidence, right? That's like winning the lottery 12 times. That kind of hierarchy, that kind of aristocratic approach to things happens. And okay, if the president is the best compromise, right? The way the system was designed, then why are so many related? What are the odds?
I always hated that, and that's the thing that's like fucking just winded me, is that everything that got this guy elected were things that I felt like in an objective sense in terms of a view of the bipartisan system. I was like, people would say, I'm afraid Trump's going to win, and I would say, Trump's not going to win because there's no difference between Democrats and Republicans, and the whole system's rigged, and it doesn't even matter if you vote. And everything that I said when I went into that glockenspiel routine is how and why he got elected. And it's also like he could be standing here and he'd be like doing the same thing and saying the same thing that I was saying. And it is a bummer because I was like, why so many Clintons? Why so many Bushes? Why do we have dynasties if this job has anything to do with anything? And now here he is, the first guy to break a streak. And not the first guy. There was just this black guy for 8 years, by the way.
But he hasn't broken a streak because it's Harvard. It's that it's basically that these clans set up a hierarchy and then they dominate for more than 200 years. For thousands
I'm getting
of years.
another beer. That's a good point.
The other issue is that the conspiracy is that the presidency is what's causing this. It's not one individual or one government or branch of government. It's a group of individuals that are half elected, half not elected. We are where we are because we allowed some of our power to be given up into politics instead of just basic daily maintenance. So there's the larger lie is that it's Trump. Because the truth of the matter is, it's us, we saw it, we were told it was coming, and we did not believe it.
Wow.
Well said.
This is Harmontown, you guys. This is like, I love this.
Holy shit.
All right, moving on to our next segment.
Hollow Earth!
Yeah. I didn't want to get bogged down into this guy, but I just think it's so amazing that part of his culture is all the conspiracy stuff, and it's so funny that he's taken all the joy out of it, too.
Oh, yeah.
Also, sucked all the meaning out of just, words,
I remember I was into Alex Jones. I didn't know Alex Jones for his
He was
politics.
really fun when he was on
I
cable
knew Alex
access.
Jones was the guy who thought everyone was a lizard.
I thought he was the guy in Waking Life. And then I was
He was that guy,
shit, that guy has a show?
And he was the guy that broke into the Bohemian Grove.
That part was true.
Camera.
They do that. That's creepy.
They do that.
Have you ever been there, Dan?
Who'll say what?
Have you ever been to the Bohemian
No, I don't think I may be a 1%er, but I think one of the greatest tricks the 1% plays on you guys is it's like stock. Like the 1% is there's 100% of the 1%, and there's a 1% of them. Like I just have a pool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a nice pool.
Yeah, it's amazing to me when I look on Google. I go like, wait, what is the 1%? All this stuff, and I look, depending on how you define it, it's kind of like trying to define Generation X and Generation the Millennial or whatever.
Boomers,
but unless I'm Googling wrong or something, I'm like, what? I'm a 1%er? But then I'm like, oh yeah, who the fuck else lives like this? Okay, what, really 1%? I think maybe I'm like what? And then I go, yeah, I think I'm a 1%er.
That's how fucked up it is out there. That there's like
that me
21 percenters, but the rest, the other 200 million of us are 99%.
I hate to be really Pollyanna, but I truly believe that my life is not that like. I feel like everyone should live like I live. I know that sounds so fucking like naive and sad. And I also do feel this is, I guess, why I lean in the the more liberal direction is because I do feel like I'm clearly not holding I got a lot of luck going on here, and I'm only falling back on the fact that I'm not forced to share. But I do feel like I look at my house and I go, if I had to give up 12 square feet, I look at it like a video game. I go I'm pretty sure everyone could have a modest hacienda.
A modest hacienda
with a pool.
Yeah. Dan Harmon.
I really do feel. I mean, I don't.
That's true, but you're right.
When we have these giant urban centers that are we stack people up in these tenements, but are we those? As we know, they can have neighbors who are living very comfortably. So we know that there's nothing necessarily about stacking people up in a giant urban center that necessarily means you have to live in squalor. We just use that as an excuse. And then I just feel like everyone could live pretty comfortably.
I mean, the math is there. That is correct. Logistically, if you look at it, everybody, all the billions could have something like an equitable, I don't want to say worry-free, because there's no worry-free life, but could have some kind of situation where we are not, I want to be careful, but we're not having people who are starving. We're not having people who are dying of preventable disease.
Well, there's a conspiracy theory that I'm sure you guys have explored in various parts of various episodes. That's a classic conspiracy theory that is absolutely true, which is that the more rich people you getting access to technology and free time and a larger view of things, the more they are going to tend to use their power, influence, and wealth to create a situation where they're not going to do what you do with weed. They're not going to go, holy shit, I'm really high. How can I get more of this and share it with more people? Right. They're going to do what you do with cocaine, which is holy shit, this is really good. Who saw me go in the bathroom? You're going to be I got to get this shit on lockdown, or there's just an instinct about it, and it's all you don't even need guys in a cigar smoke room. It's money itself will create that system. Theory. It will, if you don't, and here's where I say dirty words that I don't want to be associated with. If you don't regulate, unmitigated, unregulated, rampant fucking high noon capitalism, it is going to go and tear the middle class in half, and not in half. It's going to tear the top 1% of the middle class and shove it up, and it's going to tear the bottom 99% of the middle class and shove it down. It's going to capitalism. Unregulated doesn't become this perfect pyramid of money. It becomes chaos. It becomes feudal. It becomes monarchs overseeing potato people. Like
the Coke industry is actively working toward what I would argue is neo-feudalism. Also, I find it very optimistic that we're speaking in the conditional at this point. I mean, this idea.
It's what an ADU is.
Yes,
an ADU is you can build a poor person's shack on your huge fucking piece of land and charge them for it, just like we did during the feudal shit, where you might have 2-3 people who are paying you rent to live on your manor, so you don't have to sell your manor. It isn't conditional. It's where we are, right?
And should they not be able to afford that rent, maybe there's things they could do to keep the land.
Exactly.
Maybe there's some direct deposit for their paycheck. Right. Hey, thank you. You trimmed a bush. Now you can live here for another month.
What if there were a specific form of currency that only applied, right, to that manor, right, to that land? And this is something that with
your face on it, digitally.
It's called Venmo. $10.
Bitcoin
Yeah.
with your Caligula.
So this is something that we talked about that we had a difficult time cracking. The three of us, Matt, Noel, and I were thinking. We posed this question. We're kind of shitty to each other in conversation. I don't know if you picked that up because we're like we pose questions that we don't have answers to, right? And one of the
That has
questions
nothing to do with us. That's just the nature of this kind of discourse.
That is
I think.
shitty, though.
Well, you're right.
Do you mean on this show or on your podcast, or what are you saying?
More in
'Cause
our personal alone
yeah,
times, I
like
think.
when we're
Yeah.
at Dave and Buster's or something. So,
I think it's inspiring how kind you guys are to each other on the podcast. Like I don't know how much you edit. If like you guys are dicks to each other,
Oh,
then you
fuck
edit
time.
out.
Yeah.
But I think it's right. You guys take great pains, or maybe you don't take great pains. Maybe that's me projecting. That must hurt to be nice. But you guys like one of you will say something, and then like you guys have an almost tick of going like, even if it's absolutely not what you were talking about, you'll go like that. You know what? That's a good way of putting it. And then you'll continue.
well, we mean it, or at least. Oh shit! Am I the only one who means it when I say that?
No, dude. No, we all mean it, dude. It's all good, dude.
No,
It's
you
fine.
guys are
I
really
love
nice
you.
to
We
each
love
other.
each other.
What a really cool thing to do.
Whoa.
It sounds like
Whoa.
you.
Shots fucking
Sounds
fired.
like you enjoy that behavior and you understand that it's good and right to do to people that you work with or been friends with since you were 19. You know, like it seems. I think that's really cool too.
Well, it took us a while to get there.
Yeah, you guys have known each other for how long?
A couple weeks, yeah.
Couple weeks. Yeah, it takes a while.
Yeah.
It takes a while. It takes a while.
You did a good job on the draft. It was a good thing you did.
Hey, congrats on the show, by the way.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good
Thank you
job
very
on
much.
your creep show. God damn.
Big deal.
Yeah.
Big deal for me.
Yeah, and Rob's the only person on this stage who has a premiering show.
I was gonna say congrats on the trailer too.
Oh. Yeah. What?
Are we congratulating each other for
Yeah,
everything?
congrats
Let's
on,
go around
Oh,
and
the Rick and
congratulate.
Morty season 4 trailer, yeah.
Ah, yes.
Oh, yeah, I did that.
And Harmon Quest is coming in.
Yeah.
Harmon Quest.
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Watch
yeah.
Harmon Quest, only on Verve.
What is that? An app? Is that an app? Is that an app? How do you spell it?
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Hey, you guys. Seriously, do you think there's anything to magic? And I don't mean illusions.
I fucking
Do you mean
like
the
Gathering
card game?
or
Do you mean
No.
Oh, yeah.
I mean like spell casting from the Dark Ages, like that's kind of made its way all the way to 2019. Do you think there's anything to any of like ritualized versions of that?
Literally
wish.
anything to it?
Yeah, yes, because whether even if it's just the intention of wanting something so badly and then ritualizing the act of saying that this is what I want,
Like
even if
prayer?
it's silly,
Okay.
Well, I mean, no,
Sorry.
yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm being a dick.
I believe in
Prayer
it on
count.
a subjective level. Like I think that there's almost no limit on what you can accomplish ritualistically with yourself. Like it's and that's the boring answer. It's like the miracle on 24th Street. Well, he thinks he's Santa, but I think you could. I think you can't. You can convince yourself. Anyone that's in the room with you when you cast a spell. I don't think there's any limit on what you can like make those people do.
So you're talking in terms of practical effect, right? If
Yeah,
not-
I'm saying like the human capacity to believe in. Well, I would use the word bullshit, but like that's pejorative. But like
Phenomena.
to believe in shit that has no corporeal like cause effect relationship. Like you could draw a circle of chalk on the ground and say the reason I'm drawing this circle of chalk on the ground is because you're a winner and you're a loser, and I'm gonna flip that right now by saying chaka chaka muka muka. Oh no, I said it backwards. Oh no, Freaky Friday. I mean those. I believe that we see all the time. Like people will drop down on the floor, speak in tongues. They'll people regress in their hypnotic sessions. It's almost a moot point whether or not it's real or not real.
Could a Hulk exist?
Could
Could a Hulk exist?
That'd
Like,
be
yeah.
incredible.
yeah, like an Incredible Hulk. Totally. Maybe
Yeah,
not
or
gamma
a fair to
radiation.
Midland Hulk.
Oh, like a fair to middling, a mediocre Hulk.
Yeah, just a sort of Hulk.
You know, I'm
Just-
I'm
yeah.
glad you say that because I think I was okay. Best definition I heard of magic, by the way, Matt. I think we talked about this. Weaponized psychology, which I think is in line with
Right.
what you were
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Hulk. Back to
Okay, back to
Thank
Hulk.
you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you for considering me. You picked up on how interrupted
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was, and okay, yeah. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
want
Pay
you to
attention.
feel seen.
Grease
If I
that,
don't
grease that
interrupt,
wheel.
I'm just gonna sit here.
Yeah, no, you'll be rewarded. Grease them up.
So
You're gonna fly through the grocery store. Just pay attention to him. See you at the finish line.
well, this is something I want everybody's opinion on because, like, so there's this thing with the Olympics, right? The Olympics are always like, is the peak of human ability, right? And drugs.
Everyone's on drugs, though. Everyone's
Yeah.
on.
Well, they're on like
Not,
it's
not
so,
a lot of green people.
It's so loopholey. Okay, so you're married to the color idea of it. Or?
It wouldn't be.
Like,
That's a Hulk. You didn't
Come
say
on,
anything.
man.
I mean, you're pulling a time machine thing.
He was
like, it
originally
looks like
gray.
you-
Thank you.
Yeah.
And red for a time.
Oh,
What?
yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Red
and
Hulk.
then also
Yeah.
Thunderbolt. Whatever. There's different.
We could go on.
It's not a Hulk show, but the idea is like why? So baseball, when baseball first started, it was considered cheating to use a mitt
Black people.
to catch the ball.
Oh, I mean, I thought we were
that's true.
getting real.
Just a couple
Okay.
more episodes left.
There was,
And then I'll be
they had
free
to-
of this
They had to have
mess.
meetings about it and go like, is
Right.
it okay if this guy plays baseball?
Right.
I think
Well, you're
that's
saying
crazy.
the idea of like it being like an unfair advantage, or like corking your bat, or something like that, or like
Right.
greasing, like spitting on the ball or whatever. That was a thing, and now
Right.
it's like
even without the racism, which was fucking terrible and huge. There's still this idea that like Lance Armstrong, an amazing cyclist, got in trouble, right? Boo hoo, he used drugs.
But he only had one
He
nut,
got some
so he got
blood.
a pass.
Yeah, and so I want to see. I think our best chance to see a fair to middling Hulk, as you describe it, is to have an Olympic event of some sort. People sign a release, like, yeah, I might die, whatever, and they can do whatever the fuck they want. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
What caliber-
Genetic engineered Olympics? Holy shit.
Yeah, you should have a separate.
That's the fucking holy
separate
shit.
league for it. Yeah.
Delete
kinda
this
Gattaca.
podcast. We gotta go to the government or something. Holy shit. That's
genetic engineering is a
amazing.
different thing, but I'm thinking like the idea, like the idea of people doping. It's a lost battle. It's going to happen. The
Yeah.
lid of Pandora's jar is unscrewed, and everybody's lying to themselves
Yeah.
if they think they can screw it back on.
The reporters covering
Pandora's
it are
jar.
on how many cups of coffee.
It was a jar. It was a jar.
There's always
Was it
a
a jar?
jar.
It's always a jar.
That
Pandora's
sounds
jar.
dumb.
so
Just
sorry.
sounds dumb.
It sounds dumb, but it was a jar.
What caliber of Hulk was Hogan? Was he a middling Hulk, or was he a legitimate Hulk?
He's a fair Hulk because
Okay.
he's blonde.
Okay. What?
Did you guys see the video?
It's not true.
By any
It's not
chance of the? I think
Incredible
quadriplegic is the word. If he's paralyzed from below his neck, and he's operating a full body
the
suit.
exoskeleton
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Did you see that?
That's cool.
That's awesome.
I mean, tell that guy that the Olympics should eliminate drugs.
Whoa, you know what I mean? That's a good point.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, because like, well, it's a
If you eliminate
everything
drugs,
should
we
be a
got to eliminate
competition about
mechs.
what you have
I
when
mean,
you're
come
born."
on. Yeah.
There should be mechs in the genetic engineered Olympics. That sounds great.
Yeah. There should be one category that I think would quickly lose its luster because it would
Javelin.
No, I'm saying the league. I'm saying like everyone could have their purest Olympics, and there wouldn't even the problem would solve itself. People wouldn't be incentivized to cheat in those. They wouldn't like go into the purest Olympics and like sneak steroids. They'd be like, I want to go into the steroids Olympics and then just have this like crazy fucking like weird like dark future thing where it's like, and coming to the corner using the latest in cybernetic augmentation, Andre on
It's
drop
such a good
off the
idea.
blood dope robot from Mars, and the guy's just like,
Holy shit.
Andre.
30% human, according to some experts. He is mostly pickup truck, but all Russian. And just have him race around a circle. Everyone's gonna watch that.
You'd watch.
Yeah.
I'd watch it.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna watch it.
People in Vegas would go crazy.
You know, I'm
betting
gonna
on
watch
that.
the swimming competition where the guy that was born with long feet wins.
The organic Olympics, really?
Oh, Phelpy, you did it again with your weird long feet.
It's all about the human interest story there. It's
true.
So this is a perfect transition to like Boston Dynamics and DARPA and some of the robots and androids that are being created. Some of them are very humanoid-like. What do you guys think about all of that stuff?
Oh, that stuff's real.
Yikes.
That's
yeah.
completely real.
But
Yikes.
what do you where do you think we're headed with all of that? Is
I'm
it just
thinking
going
we're
to be
headed toward yikes.
Yeah.
Shit.
We're all definitely. The question is, in our lifetime, you guys look younger than me. You have most of your hair. Am I gonna see like an actual like fucking like just like wake up one morning and it's like bleh, everything's just like just converted to AI algorithm thing? Or will I just be like a 70-year-old guy going like, I don't like these newfangled USB ports on your forehead. Well, I need that like a hole in my head. Write that down, Cody. And Cody will be like, I'm 40.
Yeah, I don't. You know, it's more and more. I went back and I rewatched the Terminator franchise, well, parts of it, and I was like, yeah, the robots when they started out, people would talk about it in hindsight, and they were like, we could tell the difference between those, right? And it's a story about a physical analog, but now we're at the point where, in terms of software, in terms of like online non-corporeal conversation, it can be difficult to discern the difference.
Ooh, and it's also becoming increasingly apparent that our biggest sins are original ones. Like we have rounded a corner. Our friend Asperger Detective, that's our horrible word for him. His name is Ryan Krause, the host of Cold Case Murder Mystery Files. He constantly, he's talking about just like, look, talk about this shit all you want. We're all going to become AI, and then our problems are going to be solved. And he talks about the Terminator franchise and our relationship with it as sort of measuring that you've got your 1981-83 movie where the robot is unquestionably the bad guy. The whole premise is set up. It's based on our fetishization of fearing technology. It's classic, beautiful, wonderful, modern myth that's just like that before the words algorithm and AI were household words. It was just sort of like they put this thing in charge of defending the country, and then this thing decided that the best way to defend it was to get rid of all the people. Beautiful, perfect. It set this thing back in time. If you blow its fake skin off, what's underneath? Death. But Chrome, it comes for you. The sequel comes years later, and immediately what are we doing? And why did we love that movie? Our love affair with our villains. We love our Jason Voorhees, our Freddy Krueger. Like, we don't love the scream queens that run from them. We love this metal robot, and then he's the good guy in the next movie. We love the guy that said, I'll be back. We love the guy that is the robot. The robot in that movie that a lot of people say that movie is why I know about the first movie. I fucking love that New Testament where now the robot's the good guy. As that franchise continues, and as our sci-fi kind of relationship continues, like we're getting increasingly more like we're doing a mating dance with technology. We used to simply, Rod Serling would simply come out and basically say, imagine a world where we get so automated we basically become Russian. A garage door that opens when your car pulls up. But where are the limits? And if that garage door knew you murdered someone, should it? And it was like technology. It was like where will it end? And you proceed forward along those lines. We're like cautious. We're cautious. But that's how a tango begins. That's how a mating dance begins.
You're talking about a mating dance. You got movies like Her, or like Ex Machina, where it's literally about like a relationship with an AI that's better than a relationship with someone that you know.
And he gets dumped.
You know?
He has to accept that because exactly. That's why we're getting increasingly comfortable with those stories. We're becoming aware that we're shaking our. It's ironic because we're shaking our xenophobia when it comes to the difference between human and non-human. we're getting increasingly racist. We're getting increasingly like heightened about like your cheekbones are different. What's with your identity politics? And just because a woman did this doesn't mean like it's like we're regressing
going
in our
Gattaca.
flesh, but we're worshiping the idea of we got to. And it's almost like you wonder what a crayfish or a dragonfly or anything that sheds its skin feels about itself as it starts to evolve. Does it start to just pick at itself? Is it like oh well? Is that a metaphor for like what we're doing? It's like this war between the genders and the races and the cultures and the classes, and we're just like shredding ourselves. Is it because what's underneath is we gotta just become an algorithm or we're gonna die? It's not going to work. This plan where there's just like an 8 billion barrel of monkeys like sitting on top of a planet that needs to give up its oil or fucking die.
Well, I think where we have messed up often is this assumption that what's going on now is the end point. You know what I mean? Like some species of life sort of exist in this state where they have like the origin point, right? And then they create the other animal that is or life form that's midway point, and the thing at the end. Just to your idea about shedding skin, or I would say entering a chrysalis as well. It is something different, fundamentally alien, unrecognizable. It's preposterously self-centered for us here now to assume that in 1,000 or maybe even 600 years, the people that call themselves people are also going to refer to us as people.
Yeah,
you know
it's
what
pretty
I mean?
ridiculous.
I feel like it's optimistic.
We're going to be
narcissistic,
not
is what it is.
their species. That
Yeah.
is like a fundamental like cup of coffee. Like thinking about it. Like there is absolutely. Should we survive 600 years from now? There's absolutely no way that what we are 600 years from now is going to refer to us as the same species. That is. Well, there's one scenario in which they will. It's the Cormac McCarthy, the Road scenario.
Oh yeah.
Like they'll go like, oh, the progenitors, the people that had computers.
Fallout shit, you know, they'll be in like bunkers. They won't go outside.
And there are a lot of
We won't care
prions.
about their opinion. Yeah, assuming we continue to evolve, we along even the slowest lines, 600 years, which anthropologically is nothing. We are at the point where we are either going to change so much that what we are now it will be forgotten, historical, Neanderthalic. Like we will simply, there will be people that will study how we thought. There will be people who will, I hope, they'll listen to this podcast and they'll go, weren't they cute? Like their skulls were separated and they just kept blithering and blabbering and like they self-medicated and they coped with all this shit. And they had a whole internet and they just used it to be racist.
They had these things called hands, and they had to use their hands.
Everything was fingers and typing, and they were just like they kept talking about holograms, like that was the future. They didn't understand that like intelligence was a field and that they were a proxy, and that what we became was it or I or they or them. We will. Yeah, that's for sure. That kind of takes the pressure off, doesn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
totally.
Like, who cares? Nukes, like fucking Bay of Pigs. Who cares how we go out?
Is there a way to spot a conspiracy that has legs versus a way that like classic lying conspiracies follow this pattern?
Absolutely, I would say.
Yeah? You can just see it? Like, there's a trick to see it?
Like, do you check for like 3 or 4 things where you're like, all right, that's
like
that's
a tell.
worth researching, like a tell.
Well, so I would just say generally, sorry, Ben, to step on you here.
got it, you got it.
If we can go back and say historically there's more than one version of this kind of conspiracy that has occurred, that's generally the first step to going, okay, well, there's at least a precedent to something like this happening, which means it's not completely implausible. Generally,
Like
that's
syphilis.
sure.
Like syphilis.
Just like that.
But like syphilis testing has happened.
Oh, for sure.
Like the Tuskegee.
And- yeah,
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh
like
my
Tuskegee,
God.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Human testing.
That's not a theory.
That shit happens a lot, and over the years it has, and it's really hard to even detect. Oh God, I'll go down a rabbit hole. Let's not do that on
No,
stage.
do it.
Okay,
You got it. You got it.
experimenting with humans, I mean, some of the most brilliant people on this planet have been really fucked up and wanted to see what things happen. Like, if you think about anatomy in general.
Ben Franklin had a tool shed. Oh no! So you pointed
No,
at me.
no,
like,
that's
really,
it, dude.
Sorry, I was making a joke.
No, he had a murder basement.
He had a murder.
Ben Franklin
He
had
had a tool shed.
Ben Franklin had a tool shed.
He had a tool shed.
I think he dissected corpses or something, right?
Yeah, no, they
lived
found with somebody
yeah, for sure.
where they
we're
found a
not
bunch of
doing it.
bodies.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
Yeah, Ben Franklin was.
damn.
He had a tool shed.
It was what they call a resurrection man, right?
Yeah, well, he was resurrection adjacent, resurrection man adjacent. He, his landlord's, one of his landlord's children was a resurrection man. The house he was living in at the time was like the next place over was where they publicly hanged people. So they would hang someone, and then, long story short, he may not have been dissecting people, but he fucking knew. The smell. Think about the smell. He knew. There was no way.
I think Ben Franklin lived next door to a place where they hang people, and he liked it, and he was like hauling people into his tool shed.
What's a resurrection man?
It's like when you dig up bodies and use it to
For experimentation, for science. Because think about it, we didn't know much about what was inside these things that we walk around in, and the only way to figure it out was to cut them open after they were dead and just pull all the bits out and see, how did
Aristotle
that
thought
work?
women had fewer teeth.
Yeah, which is weird because he was around so many mouths. He could have just looked.
And you would think, wasn't the life expectancy 17 back then? You'd think there would be a bunch of dead women. You could just same number of teeth. But I don't think you just didn't want to talk to people.
I guess
back
he was
then.
more into the theory side of it. I don't know.
It just probably
That's
felt right,
philosophy.
and he probably died at 19. Like he just was
Right.
like, well, one of these days I should count women's teeth.
I'll get to it.
In the meantime, give me a lever and a place to stand, and I'll move the world. That's Archimedes.
Yeah.
But he was probably always in a. Sorry, I derailed you. Please continue.
I'm not going anywhere anymore.
Human experimentation, resurrection men. There was a loophole in European law at the time which said that it was okay to dissect dead bodies, human bodies, cadavers, but there was no legal way to procure them. It was like a grisly version of how marijuana has worked in some parts of this country. Like, you can own it, but if we catch you buying it...
If it gets you digging it up.
Yeah, if we catch you digging it up. And then that goes back, I think what you're building toward is this idea of human experimentation.
Yeah, okay, this is the point I want to make talking about this, and it's only tangential, but we've had a couple of thought experiments on our show before. When you think about World War II and Unit 731 in Japan and what the Nazis were doing in several places, they were experimenting on humans, and they were taking humans to see the limits of what a person can withstand, right? And they wrote all of this shit down after they tortured people this way, and they took a ton of data. And we've had discussions about, well, what do you do at the end of that conflict where you stop those evil people from doing terrible things to other humans, but they've got all of these pieces of paper written down somewhere.
Filing cabinets full of
with data that could possibly be useful for us to know about what humanity can withstand.
Just ergonomic desk chair industry stuff. Wow, I didn't know you could make someone slouch for 90 hours.
Herman Miller was really into all this Nazi data.
I mean, because you can't repeat the experiments.
Yes,
in
you
a
will
perfect
never.
World, one
you
would not.
should
Do
not.
you
right?
toss it out?
You don't
Do you
set
discount
fire
it?
to the data.
Well, and that's what we've been doing. It's the palimpsest thing that Ben, you're really great about talking about with history. We've been doing that to each other, that kind of thing where we do terrible things to each other, but we figure out something, and then we know for the future that is something we can or cannot do.
There's always someone saying, I'm not the bad guy, it's the greater good. Serious,
Yeah.
you know? Think about the origins of gynecology, which are barbaric.
the vagina.
Just so, Dan.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely
There's that origin. But
You're in the ballpark, yeah.
Right.
It's,
But it's it was the doctor who performed on slaves.
Yeah, exactly.
They recently ripped his statue down in New York. Thank God.
finally, thank you.
I honestly don't know where we were going with this whole thing, but we were talking about conspiracies and
The reason
whether or
I was-
not
How to
does one
recognize one.
have
I was
legs?
trying to figure out if there's like, oh, we have 4 things, we're definitely on the right path, or if you're like, it's missing these 4 things. It's probably just
The ones
folklore.
with ghosts are usually bullshit. I'll put that one out there.
It's like a guarantee.
Whoa, there's ghost conspiracies?
Oh, yeah, tons. Mainly by ghosts, for ghosts.
You do 2 episodes a week, dude. We gotta dig.
Yeah, we gotta dig.
I mean,
I was just talking to Kate, the star of that Shudder show that Rob does. She's a producer and stuff, and she said that 2 different psychics told her she had an Italian-speaking evil spirit. And then she also had, in the same spot she was diagnosed a spirit, she had an aura photographer take a photo of her aura, and it had a spot right in that same spot.
But
and
just
that's
a
crazy.
spot, not like a...
Holy shit.
She didn't have a proper
Italian.
aura, I understand. She just had this, spirit spot above her head.
I'm also I'm being a cynic, but I'm not saying that spiritual stuff and ghosts aren't real, but it's that I tend to gravitate more towards the provable kind of government.
That's proof. There's a
type
photo.
Stuff,
exactly. Seriously. What happens when we die, guys? Can we come to a consensus right here on this stage right now? What
can
exactly?
we not?
occurs?
Can we not? No,
what I'm saying is we don't know really.
I want spirits to exist and demons and shit. I haven't seen anything, but man, that would be so cool.
It would be dope.
Liven up my night.
I know.
I just remember people keep sending me links to this Navy UFO thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
People might yell at me for having you guys on stage and not bringing that up.
Right.
Okay.
Because I live in gravel, like I'm separated from the earth, and I've gotten from more than one person, like, have you seen this? So that must mean everyone's talking
the little
about
flippy crafts where they're
The
talking
Tom
about the
DeLonge
Tom DeLonge thing.
To me, it just reminds me so
course
much
it
of the
was him that
70s.
figured it out.
It's like the same old shit. It's like, but it's funny to watch like a new generation saying the exact same things about the exact same amount of obfuscation, and like it's just sort of like they like there's articles about people going like, yeah, there's 3 categories of these things. There's the diamond-shaped ones. I'm like, God, this is all the same stuff from the 70s.
Very
but
much so.
have you guys been following this like Navy footage?
Yeah. So this ties into the way to identify something that might have some sand to it versus something that's sort of a creepypasta, because we're also like conspiracy theory itself is a genre of folklore. That is an accurate.
And I guess
class.
what Brandon was asking, which maybe we don't have an answer to, is can you tell one that has like a political weaponized stinger on it?
Yeah.
Like, oh, Jenny McCarthy wants you to not vaccinate your children, so she reverse engineered a story about Ben Franklin vaccinating his kid.
That's exactly it. So, quick way to identify something that might have some sand with it is usually it's people who have some sort of power, whether financial, right, or socio-political, who want more of it and have figured out.
Don't want to lose what they have.
Or don't want to lose what they have. To that conversation, the thing that's interesting about UFO common ideas is that we conflate the idea that there's something in the sky, which most people don't understand. We conflate that with the idea that extraterrestrials, give a shit enough about this planet that they would span the vast chasms of time and space to show up and like stick things up people's butts. That's a weird. I would
say you're being reductive there.
I am being reductive. I am being reductive
because we don't know what they do when they get here. We might perceive it as they stuck something up my butt because of our tendency to like that's our takeaway.
We're very butt centric.
We're like, then they put something in my butt, and the aliens are like watching the news and going like, "Well, we did more than that."
Yeah, they're like, we taught them
That's
agriculture.
technically the way. It's like if our dogs described like us taking them for a walk, or like, he fucking choked me and he's got a string in me, and it was allowed. We're like, well, come on, you were wagging your tail. And, I don't know.
That's a really good point. And the thing is, though, like. We're also, I would further add to that point that we are operating from our understanding of physics, right? We are operating from our understanding as reality in the world as we perceive it, which is at best kind of a shitty flashlight in a very big, very dark room. But what we know and what we can prove we know and what we can all agree on is that, we see shit in the sky. We don't know what it is. It is literally an unidentified flying object. Yeah, and that doesn't mean that it's anything other. Also, we have a government that spends billions and billions and billions of undocumented money making shit that is now real. This is true that we're not going to see for 10, 15
there
years.
is an Area 51. Yeah. That's just a thing.
Yes, and
stormed the shit out of it.
And they
Did
do
you see
need a
that?
place
It
to
was-
test that.
See that guy who did the Naruto run? Holy shit.
Epic.
Like, no, it's not good for a first world empire that's in charge of everything and has unlimited spending to have a place where cameras can watch them do the equivalent of all the black and white footage of the guys trying to invent the helicopter. Like, that's what Groom Lake is, right? It's just like that. It's the Area 51 is just a place where the Air Force is constantly trying and failing to make like diamond-shaped helicopters. Right. And then people are like, "Whoa, look at that!" And it's like, yeah, it's got to be. It's. I mean, I'm not a guy that doesn't believe in aliens. I just, yeah. I think that anybody that was ever visiting us, why would they send? It's not gonna. Is there a little dude in a thing going like, humans, I'm watching them with my sports car that I fly? It's like, obviously, no.
Yeah.
They'd probably poke a hole in space and time, and the thing that popped out would likely not be visible to us.
It'd
What's
be the
the-
equivalent of a drone or something, right?
What's the conspiracy we should have paid attention to but did not?
That we
Whitewater.
Is milk.
David Copperfield.
we might have 3 different answers.
Yeah.
What do you think, Matt?
I just before we get there, the important thing with the UFOs.
It's been debunked. That's just milk.
Milk. It was an inside job.
Milk was an
This
inside
water's
job.
white.
The important thing with the UFO story
big
was
cow.
that we know about Project Blue Book and a bunch of these projects that occurred from the 40s onward that were studying, the government studying UFOs. What is it? What could it possibly be? It had to do with the Cold War as well as we got into that era, just trying to figure out which country maybe is outclassing us with technology.
Should be worried about that.
Well, agreed.
At that time.
But then the official story was that it went away. We're not worried about anything like that anymore. That stuff is hogwash. There's no extraterrestrials. Everything's fine. Then this footage gets leaked, and then we find out that wait, in fact, our government has been studying unidentified flying objects this whole time, and there's a lot of data there, and there are people that you know about, like names within our government that were actually
Tom DeLonge.
No, it wasn't Tom DeLonge. There are people
He's
in the
high up.
Senate that were running stuff. I mean,
How did it
mind-blowing.
make you guys feel when? Because the big headline of that thing seems to be that the Navy said in an uncharacteristic, like they're like, yes, that's legit.
They tried to get in front of it.
We didn't want you to see it.
I found it weirdly
But that's
underwhelming.
legit.
Why is that? Isn't that sad that I found it so underwhelming?
I couldn't tell. I was just
No.
like, in this day and age when everything's been so stirred up, I was sort of like I guess my gut was sort of like, is everybody just so scared right now that like we're just being gentle people now? like that the Navy's like some guy who's in charge, he's like, I'm probably gonna get fired tomorrow for like saying the wrong thing about a haircut. So, like, what is my job for real? Like, am I gonna be an admiral tomorrow? Am I gonna end up the Secretary of State? Probably. I get like I've had this conversation with my fiance. I'm gonna fucking play it as it lays. And it came across his desk, and he's like, just tell him the truth, Henderson. And Henderson's like, the truth, sir? And he's like, you heard me. At ease, do whatever. It's like tell him what's it. Like, yeah, it leaked. It's not footage that the Navy hands out. We don't know if it's a fucking alien, but like, fuck it. And things are like operating bureaucratically. That was just like the Navy says, real footage of a real UFO. Don't know if it's an alien. Yes, those bros you hear flying those Top Gun planes, that's them going like, what the fuck, bro?
That is them.
As opposed to the traditional thing of like, we can neither confirm nor deny us. Are you? Who got the...
Yeah.
And it was like that was what my heart said, but then I had to follow it up with like panic of like, that's what this is what they want you to think.
But disinformation within that realm is just the norm. I mean, if you think about the Vietnam War, what was allowed to actually be reported within the United States of what's going on for strategic advantage, something like that. If there are actually extraterrestrial species of some sort or some faction visiting us, then why on earth would anyone who knows about it, who's afraid for national security purposes, for humanity's purposes, why would they ever come out on any news source anywhere and say, yes, this is a thing? Like I can't imagine that ever occurring.
But also, people are very terrible at keeping secrets. Like super shitty.
That's
at
certainly
it.
what we've learned.
Yeah, like I mean,
And we've
yeah.
pitted the height of like this could profit you against it. Like we have seen people definitely facing, like we've been so cynical about the supposed incentive of like, well, nobody wants to get fired and everyone just does what they're supposed to do, and it's like a jumper cable has been attached to the wrong post of a system, and I'm not saying is perfect and has any kind of inherent like integrity to it, but it's just like this weird fucking rando dude like has revealed that most human beings, even if they work on a government payroll, are kind of like, cool. Yes, sir, I'll do that. God damn it. Dear diary, this motherfucker made me do some fucked up shit. Hey, Stacy, if I get shot tomorrow, tell him. And Stacy's like, what? Did you just tell me what I think you told? I gotta tell Marshall. Tell Marshall. Fuck you. I was like, I'm finished with my job. This motherfucker told me to do some crazy shit. Yeah, I quit. Well, you should quit. Well, then I did quit. You're a whistleblower. So are you. You should quit. And meanwhile, he's like, you're fired. You're fired. You're fired. And everybody, it's working the same way a Starbucks does. And I find that refreshing that they're not so different. That's the one layer of it that I'm like, this is all working the exact way I would think human beings they're not all weird people in warehouses keeping the Illuminati secrets from us. That it's been exposed that they're mostly just Dunder Mifflin.
Right, and to what you're saying, like there's this paradigm shift, and it goes to like the cost of information, right? In the 50s, for instance, people would say, you know, if we're a G person, we're a government agent, we would say, well, the truth can't get out. People learn about shit through, you know, one of the following 16 ways. We'll shut those 16 ways down. And now that there are billions, I always think about, like, were you guys ever growing up and your parents did something fallible and human, and you were like, what the fuck?
You're someone changer.
Yeah, someone's supposed to be in charge. You know what I mean? And like, I
can't believe Mom just threw my birthday cake at my dad.
Yeah,
did I turn 10 or not?
Yeah, right, exactly. And so seeing that fuck it moment from the Navy or from people who are supposed to be kind of psychologically a fill-in for an authoritarian figure, it's a lot like the cake throwing.
Not to mention what you said at the top of the show about how like that level of cooperation just doesn't happen. I mean, it really doesn't. You know?
I mean, I think Matt is absolutely... Unless...
It's an internment camp.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unless it's a Grenada invasion or a government toppling, say the Panama Canal.
Sure. Yeah.
Then you have multi levels of agencies coming together, trading information between each other, sending agents in.
Well, you can count on America. Sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, it's like you look at a black box and it's like it's effortless, the silence, if everyone's on the same page. It's like outside the box of America, conspiracies abound because with lots of cooperation, because it's all dead man switches where if no one hits a button, nothing happens. And I'm drunk.
I would counter though. How did everybody in this room immediately know the 3 to 4 things you named? Because
I didn't.
Oh, okay. Well,
I just recognized them as problematic. I'm just like, oh yeah, no, for sure. Like honestly, I only point that out actually because that's part of how it works. Is that there is no point to understanding what's happening in Nicaragua, Grenada. There's no point in understanding these sort of boring details, and that part of politics is to try to put things in that box. Like healthcare is. The forces that be like they try to put they try to make healthcare feel like the invasion of a foreign country in Central America. they try but whatever. I'm derailing it, but like it is. It's very interesting point you're making, which is that actually 250 million people can effectively, relative to Ethiopia, they can they could keep a real big secret.
Yeah.
Like no one blows any whistles.
Yeah.
On Cambodia, no one blows any whistles on anybody in a third world country. Like from their perspective, you wonder how those people feel. They go like, God damn, you people work together pretty nicely.
I mean, absolutely. It's not. It's even more.
From where I'm sitting, there's incredible cooperation. And that's the interesting thing about conspiracy theories. And I just real quick is that it depends on what side of the coin you're on, whether or not you believe in them. If you have seen a system actively hunt, kill, find, maim, destroy entire communities, then when somebody drops a conspiracy theory on you, you're like, yeah, that sounds probable. But if you have lived in a privileged society and you've been a beneficiary of that privilege, you're like, why the fuck would anybody coordinate an
Tony
effort
in marketing?
to do that?
You ever try to get Tony in marketing to do something?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So from where you're sitting there, it looks like people aren't that fucking smart. But I really can tell you how smart they get.
Well, CIA crack cocaine. That's a great example of an actively That's a great example of an actively perpetrated and relatively easy to prove conspiracy. But here's the perfidious, insidious part. It's not so much about keeping a secret as it is about devaluing the truth, right? So again, the things you named, sure, people can black box, as you said, Dan, a secret for some set amount of time. Eventually, the truth outs, right?
Well, eventually the truth becomes more valuable than the crack.
Right. Which is...
and so then we have to ask ourselves, what crack are we smoking that gets you high that is worth money for 60 years that's worth more than the truth?
I see what you're saying.
And what defeats conspiracy is a transparency and a ground game that is people talking amongst each other. Mm-hmm. So that is one of the reasons I feel like certain communities are able to survive those conspiracies, no matter what the cooperation is on the other end, is because if the price of this particular item in this neighborhood has changed or has not changed, you can't talk to me about global markets. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, because it's the question here. It also becomes a question of. I love that you said transparency, because what people dismiss as conspiracies, whether it might be demonstrably untrue or very provably a fact, the one thing those have in common is that speculation thrives in the absence of transparency, and then also people are inherently narcissistic, which is not necessarily a bad thing. People are explaining the story of themselves to a worldview. So like these, like the far right deep state people are always, they're not looking at stuff that makes them go, oh, I should change the way I approach shit. They're not like, I have a teaching moment or a learning thing here. They're always like, oh yeah, I was fucking more right than I thought I was on multiple levels. And so what I appreciate here is the point that you're raising that we have to emphasize. We have to emphasize it, highlight it, italicize it. I don't give a fuck. The important part here...
We'll just put apostrophes everywhere.
Let's just put apostrophes.
I'm sure it'll,
Yeah.
And if the New York Times removes them, then they're trying to make us look stupid.
And then they're in on it. But the thing is that the people are not idiots. People are not stupid. Whenever we run into a community that has something that is demonstrably, from the first approach, seems untrue or seems crazy, you have to listen to those people, because they're not making it up for shits and giggles. Nobody's serious. Like, nobody woke up one day and said, hey, I think this law enforcement department in this part of this community is actively hunting these people. Nobody said, you know what would be funny? You know what would be a real, just a great bit? Right. That comes from a real place.
Right. Women didn't come together and go, let's fuck with them on equal pay. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll lie about how much we make on the dollar.
We'll keep it a secret that we actually get paid more.
Right. Welfare's enough. Prisons are great. All those secrets.
So let's amend it to say, if we want to be completely clear, let's amend it to say that groups of people or institutions or organizations, religious groups, whatever you want to, however people get together and hang out, they are capable of cooperating when, as Noel said, they are either preserving what they see as their status quo, or they are increasing what they see as like the share of whatever pie they have made in their head, going back to your idea of non-corporeal, articles of faith, right?
Yeah,
that's ultimately what it is.
Well, I think that's a really interesting thought to arrive at, is that because I never parsed conspiracy theory in that sense, that actually, if you unhitch from the stigma, that the historical stigma that says conspiracy theory is a term of abuse, like you said, and then you start to ask, well, what is a conspiracy and what is a theory? And then start to actually, probably the most valuable way we can digest conspiracy theories is start to ask ourselves, in what way am I a Bilderberg? And in what way am I like someone else's conspiracy? Because that's like why do I have this life and who doesn't have this life? And from their perspective, is it possible I'm in cahoots with my neighbor, even though I don't like him? But like from someone else's perspective, couldn't you say I'm in cahoots with them? And like to kind of like actually look at life in terms of those connections, which is really just another way of saying problematization. Like you're looking at who's benefiting and who's not. What a drag. But for me anyway.
It's true.
I have nothing to gain from it. So I'm probably just going to convince everybody that the Jews are controlling them. Oh, that didn't get a big enough laugh.
It's too real.
God damn.
It's too close to the holidays.
My fiance is one. Come on. I'm not anti-Semitic.
No one's one.
It's impossible.
That's right up there with some of my best
You can't have
friends.
sex with people you hate. When has that ever happened?
No, never.
There's 8 billion of us.
My girlfriend's probably watching this, so I didn't say anything.
Sometimes I say things that I think, I'm like, wow, this will get a great big laugh. Because the joke is I could never be that shitty a person. And everyone's like, oh.
And the worst part is if you see someone in the back going, yeah. Hopefully you're not back there.
Oh boy. In my dream, I'd take that over the judgment.
But these Adams, they got a guy that's just a hand. He's just like a hand. He's walking around.
Yeah.
And
back to Adam's family.
It's Harmontown, ladies and
right.
gentlemen.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you so much. Matt,
Ben, Noel, and
Noel, Rob Schrab, Spencer Crittenden, once again, Matt, Ben, and Noel, and Darren Harmon, of course. I've been Brandon Johnson. We wish you a happy birthday, Jeff Davis. We miss you so much. Watch Creepshow. Rob Schrab in the house. Downtown Dynasty Theater. Sarah Hill. Nolan Fabricas. Zach McKeever up in the booth. You know how we get down. Good night.
Listen to Stuff They Don't Want You to Know on the Stuff You Should Know network.
Shout out to Matt Riddle right there in the front. He's the reason we were able to be here tonight.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, other Matt. Good to meet you. All right, and I'm going to be on their podcast. We're recording tomorrow, but thanks for coming out.
Did you get any of that?
It's a good show.